I want all of you, every single person here, to walk away today with the power to solve problems. Now, I started my engineering career when I was about 10 years old, and I started by just putting things together. Any toys that I had, any tools that I could find, I was creating projects. And I'd put these things together just to play, just to create things, just to push what I could achieve on my own. And I was desperately trying to always push things further than people thought that I could. To the point where I was designing things that I could no longer produce with the facilities that I had available. So I'm 15 years old, I'm designing these things, but I can no longer make them. So I need to find somewhere and someone who can. So the first thing I do at that age is Google, and I Google factory. And I spend months and months going around the UK, going around London, looking for manufacturers, speaking to factories, speaking to machinists. And it turns out that at 15 years old, you can't afford much of the British manufacturing economy. So I went back to Google, and I've been told that China's cheap, and I couldn't see any reason why that would be a problem. So I went to Google and I said, Chinese factory. And within 2 weeks, I've sent all the money I had out to China, fake PayPal account. Parents were not happy with that, didn't know about it. And 2 weeks later, I received back all the components that I've designed. And they were kind of right, they were kind of what I wanted. And I started assembling these things, and all the time I was doing this, I was talking about it, I was blogging about it, but I wasn't really concerned whether anyone was reading it. I didn't even consider whether anyone was reading it, really. So when I turned up to events, and people started bombarding me with requests to help them design things, requests to sponsor me, requests to get involved in what I was doing, it was perfect. I suddenly had an entire list of challenges that I could attack. There was suddenly a whole list of projects that I can get involved in. And that was exactly what I needed. And so I spent my years 15, 16, 17 years old contracting for some of the largest companies in the world because nobody thought to ask how old I was. All of that time, I was living at school. Nobody asked why I don't reply to emails until 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And no one considered that might be because I was at school. So I would go to school, I would come home, I would do some work, I'd stay up really late or get up really early, and I'd be on a conference call in China, and then I'd go into school again. And for 2.5 years, nobody asked. This work just scaled up and up and up until it was really serious supply chain management and engineering consulting, and nobody asked. And until I'm 17, and somebody writes an article that I'm not really aware of, but it's gone up. And I get an email saying, Josh, we need a chat. And I still use that line to date in the company. Anyone, we need a chat. And they said, so we found out that potentially you're not quite old enough to have even tried to qualify to do this job. Maybe. We had to wrap this up. It wasn't quite allowed to carry on. This guy was absolutely terrified that he was going to lose his job when everyone finds out that his supply chain is managed by a kid that hasn't even finished my A-levels, let alone gone to university. And but that left me with a problem. And the problem was I didn't have enough problems. I didn't have enough projects to work on. I couldn't talk about any of the things that I've been working on for the last few years because they'd signed all these contracts so that I wouldn't be able to. They wouldn't release the information that a kid had been controlling the supply chain. So I'm desperately trying to build a business back up. And without any evidence, that was really, really tough. I'm working on much smaller projects than I'm used to, just doing anything I can to build up a portfolio. And all this time, people are telling me that I need to stop doing that. I need to stand away from the computer. I need to leave the office, and I need to be out there meeting people all day, every day. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, anything. I need to be with people. And over time, I started to understand that actually, they're right. It is the people that are helping this happen, and it's people that introduce me to people, that do me favors, that results in developments in the company. And so I set about on a new mission. And I said, I'm going to print 250 cards, and I'm going to document every single person that I meet and every single person that they introduce me to. Because then maybe I can equate that to developments in the company, and I can prove to the world that it is people, and for all you skeptical engineers, here's some evidence, because that's what I needed. And so I started that in New York. And I started with 10 scheduled meetings. And after a week in New York, I left having met 100 people and looking to print new cards, because it really was people that were building this business. And that realization that actually it's as much about the people as it is about the engineering was the basis for our company now. And our company now harnesses that power of people and the perspective that a broad range of people bring to solve problems and solve any problem. We've got a global team now in more than 40 countries, over 100 factories, and those people aren't all engineers, those people aren't all designers, those people are anything we can get our hands on. Some of them are submarine engineers, some of them are nuclear scientists, some of them are human psychologists, some of them are artists, some of them are school kids. But what that range of people brings is perspective. And so at the beginning of this, I said that I was going to leave you all with the power to solve any problem. And the truth is, I can't. You can't. You do not have the power to solve any problem. The power to solve a problem is in people. So I challenge you, when you leave here today, to bring people together to solve problems. Because if we can bring people together, we can see problems in a different light. We can see a different perspective. And if we can see a different perspective, we can challenge conventional thinking. And if we can challenge convention, we can solve any problem. Thank you.